Hi guys, today we're taking a look at the latest entry-level direct drive racing wheel from PXN. This is the new PXN V10 Ultra, which is compatible with a PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, S, and a PC, but it's not PS5 ready. Details are in the description below, including purchasing links. So we'll take a quick look at what you get inside the box, go through the main features, show you how it performs across all platforms, and I'll give you my first impressions, highlighting any pros and cons to give you a better idea if it's worth getting or not. But before I begin, if you're new to the channel, hope you can support me by subscribing and hitting the bell icon to get notified on my next release. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comment section below. Let's open this up and see what you get inside the box. You get a user manual, a 2-pin power lead, the V10 Ultra racing wheel. Underneath you have a box containing 2 mounting clamps, another 2-pin power lead but for another region, a power adapter with a DC connector, a bag containing a selection of cables, another bag which has a spring and damper kit for the brake, a USB-C to USB-C cable, a USB-A to USB-C cable, 2 bags with screws, a wrench and an Allen key. Next we have the V10 Ultra Wheelbase, and finally the PDHM pedals. Taking a closer look at the PXN V10 Ultra Wheelbase, it's actually an upgrade to their popular PXN V10, which worked off a dual motor consisting of gears and cogs to provide force feedback when racing, whereas the new V10 Ultra has a direct drive wheelbase where the steering wheel is mounted directly onto a direct drive servo motor to provide a more realistic racing experience, with the wheelbase providing 3.2 Newton meters of torque, with the motor having a 15-bit resolution. The casing is made from plastic and has a metal plate underneath, and it comes in a matte black finish with a red stripe across the top. On the front you have a quick release system made of plastic. It measures 220 millimeters in length from the quick release point to the back of the wheelbase. On the back you have your connection ports, which consist of a port for a shifter, a USB-C port to connect either a PC or a console, a power button, a port for the pedals, an additional USB-C port, an e-stop port, a USB-A port for a console controller, and a DC connector for the power adapter. You're even able to adjust the angle of the wheelbase by removing the screws at the side and adjusting the angle and then reattaching the screws. Connecting up the wheelbase is simple. Just line up the little plastic nib at the top, push the wheel into position and screw the racing wheel in to keep it secure. Over to the V10 Ultra racing wheel, which looks small in size and measures 270 millimeters across. It's quite light and is covered with a stitched PU leather material with red stitching around the spokes and stitching around the inner part of the rim. The rim has a D-shaped design with a red center marker at the top. In the middle you have a metal frame with 17 programmable buttons with the PXN logo in the middle, which is also a button. On the back you have the PXN quick release system with the paddle shifters made from aluminium alloy and consists of 2 paddle shifters and 2 clutch paddles underneath. The paddle shifters have a clicky sound to them when pressing down, whereas the clutch paddles underneath don't have any sound. Onto the pedals, which come pre-assembled with a brake and accelerator. They're made from carbon steel, with the accelerator having a larger faceplate on it. Both faceplates can be adjusted up and down, and you can even change the angle of the pedal to give it more of an incline. Underneath the pedals you have rubber grips to stop it slipping on a smooth surface. In terms of ports, on the right hand side of the brake pedal there's a Type-C port and an RJ45 port, either of which can be connected to a wheelbase, but the Type-C port will be used for a PC, together with the RJ12 port for connecting up the throttle, and on the left there's an RJ12 port for connecting the clutch pedal. On the accelerator you have an RJ12 connection port on the left side. In terms of the feel, when you press down on the pedals they actually feel very similar, with them both being spring loaded, which is not so great for the brake pedal, hence why they've provided a spring and dampener to improve the experience, providing a 10 kilogram damping force. You can attach it to the brake pedal by clipping it into place and then squeezing down, locking into place, and this feels much better, providing some resistance like a real brake. Both pedals work off a Hall effect sensor, so the distance travelled as you press down, but on the negative side they don't currently offer a load cell kit upgrade for the brake, which would have given you a more realistic feel where the brake works off the pressure applied to it. And looking on their website, they do have an optional clutch pedal. I've mounted the PXN V10 Ultra wheelbase and pedals on my sim racing cockpit This is the Playseat Challenge X Logitech G Edition, and my TV is the LG OLED G4 65-inch. The setup was pretty simple to do. I've clamped the wheelbase to the frame using the clamps provided, but mounting the pedals was a little bit more fiddly as I had to remove the mounts, flip them around, and then attach them to the pedals and then secure them to the frame. I've connected up the pedals to the wheelbase with the cables provided and plugged in the power adapter into the DC port. To keep the cables tidy, I've used Velcro straps to attach them to my sim rig. Now let's test this out. I've connected the wheelbase to my Xbox Series X, and you have to plug in your controller to the wheelbase, which I did find a little bit strange for it to work. Let's test this out with Forza Horizon 5. Driving around, the V10 Ultra generally performed well, giving a good amount of feedback from any knocks or bumps and when you're going around corners. It performs well for an entry-level wheel, providing a maximum of 3.2 Newton meters of torque. The performance feels completely different from the original V10, which was quite noisy with a notchy feel to it, but this is completely different with a much smoother and more refined feel to it. The wheelbase isn't bad at all and does feel good, with it being quite responsive when driving, but the wheel does feel a little bit small in size and I really would have preferred it to be slightly bigger. There isn't much flex from the wheel and the quick release mechanism kept it firmly in place. The buttons are all in easy reach and the paddle shifters work as expected with a clicky sound, but I have to admit it does have quite a cheap feel to it, which is no surprise as this is for the entry-level market. Now plugging this into my PS4, and just to note, I did test this on my PS5 but it didn't work as the wheel isn't recognized correctly. Connecting the PS4 controller to the wheelbase and starting up Gran Turismo 7, the driving experience does feel good with a slightly lower level of feedback from what I was getting on the Xbox, but I think this is more to do with Gran Turismo 7 as I sort of noticed this reduced feedback with other wheels too. The racing experience is totally different from the G29, which has more of a notchy feel from the gears and cogs. The direct drive servo motor is actually very quiet and gives quick and precise force feedback to the wheel, giving a nice rumble. I also tested on my gaming PC with Acerta Corsa and the performance felt good, and it's great to see it's compatible across all platforms. Onto the pedals, and they feel good. The brake pedal has a slightly more realistic feel to it due to the resistance from the spring and damper, so it's great that PXN have included this in the bundle. And with the accelerator, it retracts back well, with both of the pedals being responsive and performing really well. Onto the PXN software, which you'll need to install on your PC to be able to use it and to make adjustments on the wheel and wheelbase. It's called PXN simracing, and you can get it from their website. The software has quite an intuitive feel to it, where you can change the force feedback on the wheelbase and remap the controls on your wheel. Plus you have a game launcher with a number of games and you launch your games from here. There's also a mobile app available on both Android and iOS that lets you connect to the wheelbase to make changes on the fly too. Ecosystem wise, options are quite limited. PXN have launched their new VD series wheelbases with new wheels, but unfortunately these new wheels aren't compatible with the V10 Ultra as the quick release system is totally different. So in terms of wheels, currently there's no additional ones, and I'm not sure if they're going to introduce additional ones in the future either, as they never did for the V10. There is a HBS handbrake and a CB1 racing box together with a shifter, so in one way the basics are covered, but nevertheless a pretty small ecosystem. So in summary, the PXN V10 Ultra Racing Wheel Bundle is a good entry-level option to go for if you're on a limited budget and wanted to race on a direct drive wheelbase, giving a smooth and I'd say more refined feel. It provides 3.2 Newton meters of torque, generally giving a good level of force feedback. And if you are looking for an alternative to the Logitech G29, G920 or the G923, this provides a much better racing experience from the wheelbase and pedals, even though Logitech's entry-level wheel rim and paddle shifters feel more premium. Compatibility is good, with it working on multiple platforms, so a PC, Xbox and PlayStation 4, but unfortunately it doesn't work on a PlayStation 5. Price-wise, the PXN V10 Ultra bundle is pretty competitive for a direct drive wheelbase at just under £270 or just under $260. Negatives wise, it's a shame the ecosystem isn't bigger, with there being no additional wheels, even though it has a quick release system. And personally, I found the V10 racing wheel a little bit small in size, so I would have preferred if it was slightly bigger. But overall, the PXN V10 Ultra is a great entry-level sim racing bundle, perfect for kids or for those of you on a limited budget. So there you have it, you've come to the end of another video, and I hope it's helped anyone thinking of purchasing this. Details are in the description below, including purchasing links. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. If you want to see more on the new VD series wheelbases, then check out my next video. For those of you who got to the end of this video, please leave a comment with V10 Ultra, as it's awesome to see who's got to the end of my video, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Follow me on all my socials, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to be notified of my next release. Thanks for viewing, and see you in the next one.